and welcome back to another video. So, today I figured I'd talk a little bit about my history with the Nintendo Gamecube, as well as the big stack of games for it that I got kind of that Christmas day. So, I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again because it's funny. Prior to getting our Nintendo Gamecube that Christmas, we'd been heading out on a family trip abroad, and we were in Game, which happened to be in the airport, which great, brilliant, thanks. And I was getting something out of her purse. My mum had a shelf fall on her, so she had a glass shelf fall on her head, which happened to include a bunch of GameCube stuff. Now, while we're on the plane, we're heading over to wherever it was we're heading to. She's written around their bag. Goes, what's this? So, yeah, Super Smash Bros. Melee fell into my mum's bag that particular holiday, and which was quite funny. Especially she was, yeah. Fell into her bag, and we had our first console game. Now, I'd had a Game Boy up till this point. I didn't have an N64, PlayStation 1, not even the Saturn. Not how much big fan I am of the Saturn. But we did end up getting a GameCube that Christmas. So, the GameCube was split between myself and my sister. So we both owned it. And I think that was our primary Christmas present that year, which is sick. So cool. Huge fan of that. Couldn't have been more thrilled. And it came with a bucket load of games. Like an absolute metric bucket load. Like a fat stack. So, naturally, in amongst that lot was Smash Bros. This is the original copy. Some of these are the original copies. Some of them aren't. Some of them I've bought back. But I think the bulk of them are the original ones. So, yeah. Smash Bros. Melee. Was kind of one that's the one that got my attention. I went, ooh, what's this? So I opened it up. I must have read this manual hundreds of times, as well as the weird little inlay for the definitive player's guide, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have. Yeah, it has the Nintendo VIP pin on the back of it that's never been used, which is kind of fun. So, yeah. I'm a big fan of Smash. I've liked most of them. I think the only one I never really got on with was Brawl. And even Brawl, I maintain, has the best single player of the whole series. Wish they'd do another game like that. I think it'd be really cool. But Smash Bros. Melee was kind of one of the initial games I was really, really invested in. I did claim like two. I did go, right, these two are mine. These two are my games. These are, of all of them, the ones that I'm kind of going to go, yeah, that's mine. Smash Bros. Was one of them. And the other one, which ignited a long, long love, is Sonic Adventure 2. Now, I love this game. It's still in my top 10. Very easily. It's just so packed full of stuff. So packed full of stuff. From multiplayer modes to single player to the Chow Garden. I've still never actually beaten this version. I've been meaning to, I just haven't got around to it. It's really solid. And the fact that the latest Sonic film, Sonic 3, at the time of recording, is basically this game. All over it. All over it. It was great. It was perfect. The only thing I really needed it to have is City Escape, which it didn't, but here we are. So, those are the two. Those are the two I went, these are mine. These are mine. These are absolutely my games, especially this one. I played the ever-loving snot out of Sonic Adventure 2. Bearing in mind, the GameCube was both my sister's and mine, right up until I got my original Xbox. So, as soon as I got my original Xbox, the GameCube kind of just sat in our parents' room for years, being unplayed, which sucks, because in hindsight, in a lot of ways, I like the GameCube more. I think the GameCube had a much more solid sort of base of weird shit. The Xbox original has some weird games on it, like Razor's Hell, Advent Rising, Psychonauts, all that good stuff. They didn't have the really weird weird shit, like Cubivore or Doshin or Wario World. So yeah. However, there were certain games that were definitely in my sister's ballpark. So she had predominantly two. Finding Nemo, which my mum is actually was quite a big fan of this game as well. She did actually play this from time to time, which is fun. That's the original copy. A few years ago, she was like, "Can you just take all the Wii and GameCube stuff?" I was like, "Okay, cool." So yeah, that came to live here, and for now. This was a game I never really got into too much. It's one that my sister played every now and then, which is Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, which is fine. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite platformer on the GameCube. That would go well. Duh. But yeah, it was definitely a game that I think was decidedly more in my sister's ballpark at the time, not so much nowadays. But yeah, Finding Nemo and Scooby-Doo, definitely there. There were a couple that I wasn't huge on, yeah, which I'll get into. So these we just had for years, and I never really got into them. They were never really my favorite. Never really my favourite games for this particular console. And those were Legends of Wrestling, which you think I would have liked, because I was quite big into wrestling when I was younger, as were a lot of kids, kids my age at the time, super into WWE and what is now WWF. Oh no, what is now WWE. And 18-wheel American Pro Trucker, which I still can't quite reconcile in my brain whether or not it was this or Big Mother Truckers that we ended up having. But I'm 99% certain it was this one. I've played it once in the 25 years I've owned this. Well, oh no, this is a new copy. Yeah, I got rid of the old copy. I think this is the original copy of this. I think so. Lost the manual. Oh no. Nope. It's, yeah. So these two I ended up selling just because I was like, oh god, they suck. So I thought I'd pick them up again. Admittedly, I picked them up like 10 years ago. I sold them and then I was like, yeah, maybe I should own those again. My brother had a game. So that same Christmas, in amongst all of this, I'll get to the final three in a minute, because one of them, a lot of people will go like, really? My brother had one, and I tried playing it. It's appalling. It's appalling. I think he got rid of it. I don't know if he got rid of it. I think he did. Can't remember. But I picked it up again, and that's Tarzan Freeride, which was... this was actually the game I was waiting on in the post, I think from last week. I've gone back and played it a little bit since then, and it is still just as trash. It's not fun. It's not a particularly enjoyable game. It's just kind of hot garbage. But it was there. It was in amongst the initial wave of GameCube games, so I kind of went and played it every now and then. I don't think my brother ever really sat down and played this. It was definitely something he had, but I think he was just a tad too young to be playing games on the GameCube. There were three other games, and then I distinctly remember three other games throughout my childhood that I ended up getting. And was it three? I think it was three. Might have been two. It's two. So one was Wario World, which now goes for a lot. I just came home one day and it was there. And I was like, awesome! Thanks! And I think for one Christmas I got, or birthday, can't quite remember, Pokemon Colosseum, which I still have. I still have that copy. It was the one with the Pokemon box as well, which is pretty cool. Came with a memory stick, which I think I've lost or I've sold or something. I have the memory sticks around here somewhere. They're in a box now, or they're in a bag. I think they're down there. But yeah. Oh no, still have that one. Yeah, still have that one. So yeah, came with that. And I want to say there was another one, but I didn't play too much GameCube growing up. I played these predominantly, including the final three, which So these three, I think, are the original copies, except for the last one, which we'll get into. But, yeah. Now, I lost the manual to this game years ago, which is great. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now, as with many people, huge fan of Harry Potter growing up. Nowadays, not so much, for various reasons. Predominantly, I just don't find it that entertaining. They're still well-written books. She's a psychopath. And, yeah, I just don't really care. This, though, they went, hey, let's make what is ostensibly sort of an action-adventure / sort of an RPG / sort of a open castle experience. And it really was the closest you could get to Hogwarts Legacy back in the day. So this was as close, as far as I'm concerned, to what Hogwarts Legacy essentially was, which is the game where you want to play as you want to go to school at Hogwarts. That was a huge thing, massive. It's such a simple idea. Let's go and learn magic. Cool, you know. And that series got progressively less about that, and in turn, the games got progressively less about actually being games and more about being tie-ins. So I think after the third game, maybe the third or fourth game in this particular series of schlock. The first one's good. I've played a little bit of it. This one's excellent. They lose that charm and they become darker and more gritty, and it's less about magic and more about racism, ironically, considering the author's current political leanings. But won't get into that. So, yeah. I played an awful lot of this, and I got stuck repeatedly, and it was extremely infuriating, but I still played the crap out of it. Like, I played the crap out of this one. I've occasionally gone back to play this. I might do so again, just to see if I can try and finish it. But, yeah, it's pretty solid. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm not the biggest Disney fan, as evidenced by the fact that I didn't like Tarzan Freeride. It's an abysmal game, and I could quite happily never play this. And that's okay. It can stay in its case on the shelf as a reminder of days gone by. However, there are a good number of games that a good number of films of Disney that I really enjoy. Specifically, a Pixar one, The Incredibles. So, yeah, we got this. I think we got our GameCube in 2004, and then the following year I got a Xbox original for, that might have been the year after, one of the two. But yeah, so, yeah, the Incredibles game. This is a weird one. It sort of follows the plot of the movie, but each level is very specifically a gimmick of sorts. Like, you do the thing where Violet creates a force field around Dash, and they do the hamster wheel, the hamster ball run, and you do things like stealth through as Violet, or you beat things up as Mr. Incredible. I always thought this game was just averagely okay. This is the original copy. It much like Finding Nemo, and I think Night of a Thousand Fright. Could be wrong on that, but this is one of the original games we got that Christmas. And you know what? It's fine. Here's the kicker. I played the sequel. So there was a sort of sequel in The Rise of the Underminer. So I'd gone off, not seen my cousin for a long period of time. He's been really into stuff like Power Rangers and really into stuff like this, that, and the other. And then, unfortunately, he went down the pit of many boys that age and started liking football. So we had absolutely nothing in common. He had a PS2 in his room, and I ended up playing Rise of the Underminer throughout our entire last visit there, and that was it. That was, I think, the last time I saw him, which sucks. But here we are. We just didn't have anything in common. So, unfortunate. But that's kind of a big part of what this kind of ties into, just that sort of memory. There's one game that my sister and I loved, and I've gone looking into reviews for this game, and it's bad. It's garbage, but it's a bad game. objectively. It's an objectively bad game. It's ugly, it's just miserable. And yet I really enjoyed Jeremy McGrath's Supercross World. I think it's great. I think it's so much fun. I love just blasting. This is a replacement copy, so I did actually make the mistake of selling the original copy, which pissed my sister off quite a lot. So I had to buy her a GameCube and a copy of the bloody game to keep her happy. And she's constantly going on about a controller, even though I gave you one. So, yeah, this one. Mostly I go in and play sort of the open maps. So there's maps that you can just sort of drive around in, and that's pretty much all I did for ages. Now, it sounds very much like the game Fuel, which has a map like the size of Australia or something like that. That's barren as all hell, nothing in it. This gives a very similar vibe, and it's okay. I don't know. It's not a game I play to do racing in. I don't even know how many players it is. Two-player racing. You'd think it'd be more. I mean, 18 wheel, 4, and yeah. Oh, Mario Kart Double Dash. Oh no, I didn't get Mario Kart Double Dash in my childhood. No mind, nor me. But yeah, Jeremy McGrath. Solid in its own way. So yeah, 10 games for that Christmas, which not bad, great, fantastic. Really good entry into console gaming for me. That kind of was it. I mean, I'd had Pokemon, I'd had Super Star Wars, Pokemon Silver, the absolute travesty that is Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 4. Not a fan. I had Pokemon Ruby, a few other games for the Game Boy Advance that I still have. But then we got a GameCube, basically this complete obsession started with this falling into my mum's handbag. Thank you, whoever knocked that shelf on the head. Anyway, that's me done for another week. Not too sure what we're going to do next week. I was going to do a Games Room tour, but because a lot has changed, as I'm sure you can see. Some stuff has moved around. I've emptied out some alcoves. I've mostly filled this predominantly with these. So, yes, you will probably see Bionicle taking up a good chunk of the games room because they've been in a box for a long time, and now they're all out of the box, hopefully for also a long time. But yes, so I think maybe next week we'll do the game room tour. Maybe we'll do my top 20. I probably won't bother, to be honest. I mean, nobody really watches the top 20 or my favourite games of 2024. Nobody really watches that. It's not particularly interesting. So I think we'll just do business as usual. Maybe the games room tour. We'll see. So until then, thank you very much and have a good week.